The film starts with a criminal named Queen, a well-known figure among other criminals for his audacity. He has no qualms about eliminating anyone who disrupts his life. This time, Queen attends a mafia boss's funeral, not to pay tribute but to assassinate another mafia leader when no one expects it. Queen swiftly pulls out his gun and kills his target before quickly fleeing the scene. However, a few police officers spot him and give chase. Captain Chan Long manages to corner Queen, leading to a confrontation. Despite this, Queen's superior fighting skills allow him to overpower the officer and escape. Captain Chan Long doesn't relent and continues his pursuit. In another intense confrontation, Queen once again proves too strong and evades capture. Following these events, Queen becomes a wanted man. 4 years later, Dr. Chan contacts the hiding Queen urgently, requesting his presence at the hospital as her grandmother needs surgery to remove a tumor. Tragically, Queen faces the loss of his grandmother, his only remaining family. Soon after, at a cafe near the hospital, Dr. Chan gives Queen his grandmother's belongings, including a wristwatch and some money. Queen appears very upset and puts on his late grandmother's pig-themed watch for remembrance. He receives the results of his health check from Dr. Chun-Hu, revealing he has stage 4 lung cancer from smoking 5 packs a day. Dr. Chun-Hu then informs Queen that he only has 3 months left to live. Later, Captain Chanlong speaks with Dr. Chun-Hu, inquiring about Queen's grandmother's death. Not wanting to arouse suspicion, Dr. Chun-Hu feigns ignorance to protect Queen, believing he doesn't have much time left. Meanwhile, Queen visits a temple for guidance, contemplating whether to end his life or carry on despite his cancer diagnosis. He uses dice during his prayers to decide, but they consistently suggest he should keep living. The next day at the bank, where he goes to deposit his grandmother's money, Queen sees his photo on a wanted poster as one of 3 fugitives. This sight motivates him to set a new goal, becoming the top fugitive before he dies. He confides in a gangster associate about his ambition. That night, Queen goes to Dr. Chun-Hu's clinic and takes her son hostage to demand her help. He talks about his ambition to become infamous before he dies. To accomplish this, he intends to take down the top 2 fugitives, aiming to become the most notorious criminal in Taiwan. Kaylin plans to gather information about these fugitives from Dr. Chen H., who eventually agrees to help to ensure her son's safety. Surprisingly, the second fugitive, Ani, often visits her clinic for pain relievers due to a nerve issue. He is identifiable by a snake tattoo on his hand and sends a woman to pick up the medicine to avoid the police. Dr. Chan, who sells Chinese medicine, frequently provides strong remedies to the mafia, giving her valuable insights into their activities. With this knowledge, Kaylin asks about the top fugitive, Lu, known as the most ruthless criminal in the country. Unfortunately, Dr. Chan has limited information, only possessing a medical note belonging to Lu's mother, which might serve as a clue for Kay. After getting the needed details, Kay keeps his word and frees Dr. Chan's son. Using the clue, Kay decides to rent a hotel room across from the salon. He unexpectedly discovers that the place is a hideout for Hongyi. Inside, Hongyi and his gang are celebrating a recent murder. During the gathering, Hongyi initially interacts with Mei but suddenly lashes out at one of his men, which is seen by Kaylin through a window. The next day, Kaylin visits Mei's salon pretending to be a customer. However, Hongyi interrupts and takes over Mei's duties. Although he initially acts like a regular barber, Hongyi is aware of Quen's true intentions. Fortunately, the police arrive before any harm is done, and Mei urges Kaylin to leave, forbidding him from coming back. Feeling disheartened, Kaylin returns to his room only to find it has been ransacked. Determined to take action, he packs his belongings into his car trunk. That night, fueled by his cancer medication, Kaylin sets out to confront Han Ki. He starts by taking out Han Ki's driver. Meanwhile, Hongyi anticipates Quen's arrival. As they clash, Captain Chan Long unexpectedly shows up at the scene. Soon after spotting Kaylin chasing Hong Kei, Captain Chan Long sees a chance to catch both fugitives. Motivated by a grudge from a past encounter 4 years earlier, Chan Long decides to go after Kaylin. They get into another fight where Kaylin wins again, even breaking Chan Long's leg. Kaylin continues to chase Hong Kei to a warehouse in a field. There, they have a fierce battle, with both getting injured. Despite the difficulties, Kaylin finally defeats Hong Kei. After returning to the salon, Kaylin takes Mei with him, defeating the rest of Hong Kei's henchmen along the way. The next day, Kaylin and Mei go to the beach. Mei thanks Kaylin for rescuing her from Hong Kei, explaining that Hong Kei was her foster father who caused her great suffering. Before they part ways, Kay-Lin asks Mei to report him to the police for Hong Kei's murder, hoping to increase his notoriety as a fugitive. Shortly after his arrival at an inn, Kay-Lin took care of his wounds while watching the news. As predicted, every channel was reporting on his violent acts. This filled Kay-Lin with pride and satisfaction, feeling he was closer to his goal of becoming Taiwan's most infamous criminal by eliminating a top fugitive. Continuing his mission, Kay-Lin used a medical note from Dr. Chunu to locate Loud. However, when he went to a hospital to inquire about the note, the staff tasked him with delivering his mother's ashes to a specific address. Upon arriving, he was shocked to find a cult. He was cautiously welcomed and treated to a delicious meal. Later, during a sermon by the cult leader, he suddenly became ill and vomited black fluid. The cult leader took him to the hospital, where it was discovered that Kay-Lin had cancer. Seeing an opportunity, the cult leader convinced Kay-Lin that joining their group could heal him. After a cleansing ritual, Kay-Lin shared his goal of finding Lu Hu with the cult leader, only to learn that Lu Hu had died years earlier. The leader even showed him Lu Hu's grave as proof. Shocked by Lu Hu's death, Kay-Lin chose to join the sect. Remarkably, a subsequent health check revealed he no longer had lung cancer, strengthening his belief in the group. To fully commit, Kay-Lin decided to give up his possessions, including a significant sum of money and his grandmother's wristwatch, although he hesitated over burning the cherished watch. He did as the cult leader demanded. The next day went smoothly until a person suddenly became very sick during the sermon. Queen Lin rushed the victim to the hospital. There, he discovered the cult had deliberately poisoned its members, including Queen Lin, to increase their leader's power. Queen Lin saw the medical report being changed to deceive the sick person's mother. His suspicions about the cult grew as they exploited the woman's trust to steal her money. Surprisingly, the supposed ritual offerings were actually hidden in a warehouse. Curious, Queen Lin investigated and found the cult was amassing wealth for their leader. When the woman was about to undergo a dangerous ritual, Queen Lin tried to stop it but was overpowered by the cult members. The leader ordered Queen Lin buried alive. Miraculously, he escaped. Feeling betrayed, he dug up the supposed grave of Lu Hu, only to find it empty. He realized Lu Hu was the cult leader, the same person on the wanted posters. Confronting the cult, Queen Lin revealed Lu Hu's true identity and crimes, killing him in front of his followers. However, this didn't end his quest for justice. He made the decision to wipe out all the followers of the cult without allowing them to escape. He counted to 10 and then started a massacre when he reached the end of his countdown. After completing his task, he chose to return to his hometown. While on a ship, he took a woman's phone and got in touch with Captain Chan Long to organize his surrender at the port. Upon reaching the port, he turned himself in without putting up a fight, even appearing proud in front of the gathered journalists. Because of his brutal actions, he was thrown into prison and given a death sentence. One day, Dr. Chun visited him with a shaved head, admitting that she had falsely claimed he had stage 4 lung cancer. In truth, she was the one suffering from the disease. Dr. Chun had hoped he would surrender to the police, but instead, he ended up eliminating 2 dangerous fugitives. Despite this, Dr. Chun felt relieved as she wanted to make amends for her sins by getting rid of those criminals. A few days before his execution, he asked to be shaved by Mei. Captain Chan Long approved this request, bringing Mei to him. Both he and Mei seemed sad yet content during their final meeting. He cried as Mei shaved him, and Captain Chan Long gave Mei his pink wristwatch as a token of his esteem for her. In return, Mei gave him a suit with a picture of a pink pig, deeply moving him. On the day of his execution, he declined sedation, opting to confront his fate bravely with a smile, consoled by the idea of reuniting with his grandmother in the afterlife. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you want to watch more videos like this. Thanks and see you again soon. Take care.